Hello everyone and welcome to Cut Craft Buddies. This is Christina here and this is our part 1 of our video on inks. Today I'd like to share with you dye inks, namely color dye inks, black color dye inks and distress inks. Okay, let's start with the color dye inks. I have here two brands. This is Hero Arts mid-tone ink called Cornflower, and this is Memento dye inks called Bahama Blue from Sukiniko. Now, dye inks are water-based inks. When you stamp with dye inks, the ink soaked and absorbed onto the paper. Because of this feature, dye inks dry very fast. So let's get stamping. I'll use the Hero Arts Cornflower ink here. That's the name of the ink. Now you can see from the rubber stamp that the ink is pretty thin. Okay, I'm going to stamp on the white cardstock here. Now, I'm going to run my finger over this image. You can see there's no smearing. Why? Because remember, dye ink dry very fast. Okay, do you also notice that the stamp image here, the color of it is lighter than that on the ink pad? This is because dye inks have thin consistency, so the color appears darker on the ink pad. Therefore, the color in the ink pad is not an accurate representation of the color of the ink when stamped. So you may like to test the ink before you use it in a project. Another thing I'd like to highlight to you is the peculiarity of this particular Hero Arts mid-tone ink. When you first stamp with this ink, it looks splotchy. Okay, I'm going to bring it near to let you see. You see the splotchiness here? Okay, so not very nice, right? But no worries. This is the nature of the ink. It stamps splotchy in the beginning, but over time, after a couple of minutes, the ink will even and smooth out beautifully. So, I have here the image that I've stamped earlier on. You can see how well the ink has pulled back and evened up nicely. Okay. Now, the next thing I'd like to show you is how does this ink look like on the dark color cardstock. Okay, let's stamp again. Alright, you can see the color does not stand out. It's more like a watermark look. If this is the look you're after, fine. But if you want the color to stand out on a dark color cardstock, then dye ink is not the ink to choose from. Okay, so for good measure, I have also stamped with Memento ink. Okay, you can see that it's on a dark color cardstock. It's the same muted effect, and it's also not bad on a solid image. Stamping with Memento, but find that Hero Arts gives a more even coverage. The Memento comes with many varieties of vibrant colors, which is really great, and they only not come on this. They not only come in this dewdrop size, they also come in full ink pad size. Okay, right. That is the colored dye inks. The next thing I'm going to show you is the black dye inks. Okay, let's get this aside first. I have here the Hero Arts black dye ink called India Ink Black, and this is the Memento black ink called Tuxedo Black. Now, these black ink are great for general stamping of images and sentiments, which I've already done here. Okay, I have stamped on a solid image and an image with some details. This is honey black. Okay, now the top row here I've stamped with Hero Arts ink, and the bottom row here is Memento ink. Okay, I find that Hero Arts ink is a little bit denser than the Memento, and as far as solid image is concerned, it gives a even and better coverage. All right, but both ink captures well the fine details of the cat image here. All right. Now, one of the great advantages of Memento is that they do not smear or bleed when you color over it with alcohol-based markers such as Copics. Okay, whereas other regular dye inks tend to do so. So they've been tested many times over. Okay, by crafters out there that Copics and Memento, they are a great combo. Okay, now Uh, uh, not all dye inks are waterproof, okay, but Hero Arts and Momento, they are waterproof. So what this means is that you can actually watercolor over your image and it will not smear. So that is really good. Okay, but for better results, I would suggest you use watercolor paper rather than your regular cardstock. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is the Distress Ink. Tim Holtz Distress Ink from Ink Ranger. It's also classified as dye inks, but these inks, they have very special formulation, okay, really a class of its own, okay. They stay wet longer, okay. The regular dye inks dry very fast, but these stay wet longer. They're easy to blend and they react with water, okay. So one of the way to create some very soft background is by just blending the ink with Ranger ink blending tool. Okay, I've done one here. This is actually done using the Broken China Distress ink. Okay, another fun way to use Distress ink is to create watercolor looks, which I'm going to show you here. Okay, to do this, I'm going to use Hero Arts 3-front woodblock stamps. I'm going to ink it with 3 colors, just to show you the lovely contrast. This is Glow Paint, which is a dark green, and over here I use a lighter green. This is Chevy Shutters. Okay, and on the tip I'll use a dry marigold, which is an orangey color. This is how it looks like. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is to spritz it with water. Okay, I'm going to use my mini mister, which I fill with water, and I'm going to spritz it. I'm going to do it off camera so as not to wet the space here. 3 or 4 times. Okay. Okay, so this is how it looks like after I spritz it. Okay. Got it in my hand. Alright, and to stamp it, I'm going to use a watercolor paper. I like to use watercolor paper when I'm dealing with water on my projects because it just gives better results. Okay, and curve it up. There you are, a soft watercolor look. Okay, you can also do this with regular dye inks, but the result is not so impressive. Okay, and I find that simple solid images like this works better for this technique rather than those fine detailed ones. Okay, so I don't normally stamp direct with Distress ink, but you can do so if you like the look of it. This is what I've done. Okay, it's a little bit splotchy, not flat, but it's just that the inks is designed to work more for water techniques. Okay, and another great thing you can do with Distress ink is that you can emboss with it. Okay, because it stays wet longer, so you can have the time to sprinkle some embossing powder and hit emboss it. This is what I've done here. You can see the shiny rays here. This is on a solid image, and this one here is on image with some details. I find that's pretty neat, this one. Okay, so there you are, the 3 types of dye inks. Okay, the color dye inks, the black dye inks, and the Distress inks with its unique properties. Okay, so I hope you find this interesting and useful. Stay tuned for our part 2 on inks. Thank you for watching. Bye.